Every NBA franchise has a defining era. For the Chicago Bulls, it was Michael Jordan. For the Lakers, Magic Johnson and Kobe Bryant. For the Spurs, Tim Duncan. But for the Utah Jazz, it was two men who never won a championship. John Stockton and Karl Malone. Together, they built one of the greatest partnerships in NBA history, winning over 1,200 games, reaching 2 NBA Finals, and turning one of the league's smallest markets into a perennial contender. But when they retired, they left behind more than a talented basketball team. They left behind a question that Utah has been trying to answer for more than 2 decades. Who will become the next face of the Jazz? Now, with the arrival of one of basketball's brightest young prospects, fans are asking that question once again. Could Darryn Peterson finally be the superstar Utah has been waiting for? Or will the search continue? To understand why Utah has spent so many years searching for its next superstar, you first have to understand what they lost. In 1984, the Jazz drafted a point guard from Gonzaga named John Stockton. 1 year later, they selected Karl Malone from Louisiana Tech. Nobody knew it then, but together they would become one of the greatest duos basketball has ever seen. Stockton became the NBA's all-time leader in assists and steals. Malone became the second leading scorer in league history at the time of his retirement. Their pick-and-roll offense became nearly impossible to stop. Year after year, the Jazz won 50 games, 60 games, division titles, conference finals, and finally, 2 trips to the NBA Finals. But standing in their way was Michael Jordan. In both 1997 and 1988, the Bulls denied Utah its dream. Jordan's iconic game-winning shot over Brian Russell in Game 6 became one of the most famous moments in sports history. While Chicago celebrated another championship, Utah was left wondering, what if? Even today, many fans consider Stockton and Malone the greatest duo to never win an NBA title. Eventually, time catches every dynasty. John Stockton retired in 2003. Karl Malone left in pursuit of a championship with the Lakers. Just like that, the greatest era in Jazz history was over. For the first time in nearly 20 years, Utah had no superstar, no Hall of Fame point guard, no MVP candidate, no clear direction. The franchise suddenly found itself asking the same question every rebuilding team asks. Who comes next? In 2005, the Jazz believed they had found the answer. With the 3rd overall pick, they selected Deron Williams. Strong, physical, an elite passer, almost immediately. He was compared with another young point guard drafted that same year, Chris Paul. The debate between Williams and Paul became one of the NBA's biggest talking points, for several reasons. Many believed Deron Williams was actually the better player. He became a 3-time All-Star, led Utah back into the playoffs, and looked capable of carrying the franchise into another era of sustained success. But then, everything unraveled. Coaching conflicts, front office uncertainty. Eventually, Williams was traded away. Once again, Utah was searching. The next hope came quietly. In 2010, the Jazz drafted Gordon Hayward. He wasn't viewed as a future superstar, but year after year, he improved, eventually becoming an All-Star by 2017. Many believed Utah had finally found its franchise player. Then, free agency arrived. Hayward left for Boston. Overnight, the Jazz lost another cornerstone. For a second time, a rebuild began. Then came draft night in 2017. Utah traded for a relatively overlooked guard from Louisville, Donovan Mitchell. few expected what happened next. Mitchell exploded onto the scene. High-flying dunks, fearless scoring, clutch playoff performances. He instantly became one of the league's brightest young stars. Alongside Rudy Gobert, Utah once again became one of the NBA's best regular season teams. They won over 50 games, earned the league's best record, and looked ready to contend. But the playoffs told a different story. Every season, something went wrong. Injuries, missed opportunities, early exits. Eventually, the Mitchell-Gobert era came to an end. Both stars were traded, and once again, the Jazz found themselves starting over, for the third time in 20 years. Unlike previous rebuilds, this one was different. Utah accumulated draft picks, young talent, salary flexibility. Rather than chasing quick success, the organization committed to building patiently. Young players began developing. The roster became deeper, the future became brighter. But one thing was still missing: a true franchise superstar. Someone capable of changing the direction of the organization. Someone fans could believe in. Now that hope has a new name: Darryn Peterson. Few young players have entered the NBA with this combination of talent and expectations. His offensive skill set immediately stands out. He can create his own shot, attack the basket, score from all three levels, play with contact, and make plays for teammates. Defensively, he possesses the physical tools coaches dream about: size, length, athleticism, competitive fire. Many scouts believe Peterson has the ceiling to become one of the NBA's elite two-way guards. That's exactly the type of player every franchise hopes to build around. For Utah, he presents something even bigger: possibility. Not because he's expected to become another Karl Malone or John Stockton, but because he has the opportunity to create his own legacy. The Jazz don't need another copy of the past. They need the first Darryn Peterson. For more than 20 years, the Utah Jazz have been searching for the next player capable of defining an era. Deron Williams came close. Gordon Hayward carried the torch for a time. Donovan Mitchell reignited championship dreams. Each left a lasting mark on the franchise, but none delivered the championship that Stockton and Malone spent nearly 2 decades chasing. Now, the spotlight belongs to Darryn Peterson. Can he become an all-star? Can he become an MVP candidate? Can he lead Utah to its first NBA championship? No one knows. History reminds us that even the most celebrated prospects face enormous challenges once they reach the NBA. Talent alone doesn't guarantee greatness. Development matters, health matters, the team around you matters. But if Peterson reaches his full potential, he has the chance to write an entirely new chapter in Utah Jazz history. One that isn't measured against Stockton or Malone or Mitchell. One that belongs to him alone. Because perhaps the greatest superstar in Jazz history hasn't played his first NBA game yet. Only time will tell. If you enjoyed this story, let us know in the comments. Can Darryn Peterson become the greatest player in Utah Jazz history? Or is the search for the next Jazz legend destined to continue?